Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest live show in the multi-universe. Can we roll with that now? It's not.
We're live now. What are we gonna do? We're live now. We can't stop it now.
I was going to say, we've said it now. It's out there in the fucking world. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Heel Hook Show. Crazy 24 hours. I don't even know where to start because, in fairness, I know the little fucking leprechaun elephant dressed thing is in the room. But, we'll start with, some other stuff just to kind of lead you guys into it because I know everybody's been talking about it, but we've got a few other things that have happened over this past 24 hours that are pretty cool. Usually we'd break down the UFC event this weekend, but it's garbage. Let's be fair.
What, this last weekend?
This weekend coming, the Singapore show.
I mean, where do we start, man? The fact that in the U.S. and the West Coast where I live, it's gonna start. The prelims start at 2 a.m. I know. You guys over there, you guys are used to that shit. That being said, I'm not. So it has to. If you're gonna make me wake up that early, you gotta blow me away with the card. This card doesn't do that.
Well, the fact that somebody posted, I believe, that all the people that are competing on this event have all lost or drew in their last fight. Nobody's on a win streak, apparently.
Nobody is, and it's like it's a pink slip card, right? There's a bunch of people there like this close to getting fired. A lot of them, most of them, if anything.
I can't even I'm amazed certain people haven't. I think literally the only reason they haven't sacked Holly Holmes is because they want the rights to that knockout. That's literally it.
That and they want to put her. I don't know. I just feel like they want to put her against Cyborg, because I mean, size wise, what looks like a better fight? Think about it. Look, if it can't get Megan Anderson, right, which I feel like they'll try to do. Excuse me, they'll try to do. But I mean, why not take the winner of this fight? Because it's not going to be Betch Correia.
This entire card, I'm scrolling through it right now, and don't get me wrong, there's a few decent fighters on the card itself, like Gomi, Alex Caceres, and if we're being fair, Stun Gun's on there, Arlovski's on there. I'm throwing Arlovski as far as a name, and then you've got Holly Holmes. But I look at this card, and it's if I'm being completely honest, I see Arlovski getting starched again.
Yep.
I see that Colby kid. He'll just grind out another decision.
It's not going to be fun to watch this fight.
You know what I mean? I look at the Holly one and I just go, I could see this Holly one Correia fight going one of two ways. It either goes the way the Ronda Rousey fight did, or we end up seeing some bullshit where Correia ends up knocking her out with her ass.
Dude, imagine that. If Correia knocks out Holly Holm. First of all, ain't nobody want to see that dance move except for Fred Kirby. Fred Kirby's always down with that shit. But if Holly Holm gets knocked out, I mean, that's it, right? That's game. It's over for you. Right? Holly Holm, nobody wants to hear.
Oh, you know what's even scarier? We could legit see, this is because this is the only person who's probably, I don't want to say, yeah, let's say it, dumb enough to take the fight. I could genuinely imagine if Cyborg would accept it, I'm sure she would. If Correia beat Holly Holmes, I could see Cyborg go and say, let's do it in Brazil. Fuck it. Let's do a fucking big show in Brazil. And then to headline. And I could see it just being literally a public killing, a public, slaughter of a person. Cyborg would legit pick every limb off of Beth Correia.
Dude, it would be the saddest thing you've seen. It'd be the saddest thing you've seen since Frank Yeager, BJ Penn. And not sad in the terms of we're watching a legend get picked apart. Sad because we know she does not belong in there with anybody named Cyborg at all. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? But that being said, I think they set up this fight, in my opinion, for Holly Holm to win, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can market it. You can think about, well, nobody else wants to fight, Cyborg. Get Holly Holm to fight.
Do you know what's even scarier? And I have been quite disrespectful to this card, I'm not going to lie, but everybody else has too, to be fair. What's even more scarier is the fact that, Safadine and Dos Anjos are on this card as well.
And that's a good fight. No one's talking about it. Even though, Safadine, you could be, questionable, right? But RDA is one of those guys that likes to push the action a little bit. Once he,
And
you know, he starts to blitz you, it's on.
Interesting. Being at 170, we could see a different kind
Oh, it's 170. I thought it was 155. Oh, that's right. RDA moved up.
Yeah, because he nearly fucking killed himself every 2 weeks. Like, come on. I'm not about this life. Like, this is such a silly card. But the fact is, that even in the UK, it's at 1 p.m., which means I won't even be able to watch it until I get home from work. So I just think it's some bullshit. Like, this entire, you know, thing when they go to Singapore, it's like, for sure, stack it. Like, for sure. Come on.
Right. And honestly, they're only stacking the pay-per-view cards now. I mean, that's all they're stacking. They're not stacking. They're stacking very few other cards, right? Now, this could be one of those, like, we don't expect anything from this card on paper, and it ends up just blowing out every fight's fucking insane. That'd be awesome. I don't think that's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
The thing is, though, nobody's gonna watch it live. So the worst thing,
right?
The worst thing is, and this is why, you know, you've got to feel for us over in like the kind of European scene of MMA, because when you guys get to watch a UFC, you know, from like, say, I don't know what time the start of it is. It like 7 while 11 or something like that? 7 while half 10?
What the main card usually starts like at 10 at night, sometimes most of the time on the East Coast. On the West is like at 7.
So like at 7. So like, yeah, so like for the most part it finishes at say like 12 at the latest.
Yeah.
Right. So think about it from our perspective. By the time we wake up in the morning, every GIF, every fucking video, everything's uploaded. And it's like, well, there's no point us even going back and watching the card that we recorded from last night.
Thus why I don't watch Bellator very much.
Yeah, 100%.
I already know who won.
Why would you watch if it was recorded? Like, that's some bullshit.
Exactly. And I mean, that's probably the other reason why they didn't make this one, you know, they didn't stack this card, because it's not, they know no one's going to watch it live. What would be the point?
It just disappoints me highly, because I just think how you post a fucking build, man. You know, like that's why I'm looking at Bellator now. I still haven't had anybody confirm to me what's going on with the Bellator thing, as far as UK audiences and whatnot. Because if you're going to do the biggest show ever, and you've got Ronello, you've built this fucking beautiful thing. It's like, give it to us. It raw, uncut. Give us this beautiful, beautiful event that you've orchestrated, and you're putting it all out there for everybody to kind of go, right, this is what Bellator represents. If you're going to do that, then like, make it everything. Let us all enjoy it there and then in the moment. Let's take that. Like, that's all I want. I just want to enjoy it. And that's why I can't do it with like the Russian MMA and stuff like that, because on Saturdays people turn around and then they'll post stuff and I see GIFs all the time. And it's like, how am I supposed to enjoy it from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to enjoy anything once you know the result, right? It's one of the reasons I didn't watch any of the finals, or I didn't watch 4 of the 5 NBA finals games, and I only watched the second half of game 5, right? It's because by the time I give a shit, the score was already on Twitter, and it's like, well, what the fuck are we doing? You know? But, you know, with the fights alone, look, Bellator has been doing this shit forever. Now, supposedly, and you know, I talked to everyone that is deep into Bellator. This is gonna be live for everybody. Supposedly, it's gonna be live for everybody. And if you think about it, it's probably true. We don't know for sure, but pay-per-view, I think for sure is gonna be live. I don't see why that would be an issue. Now, to be fair, I didn't hear anything about the UK. The UK's broadcast, as far as that goes.
We're gonna end up getting some fucking bullshit where it's like 7 hours behind, and we're gonna have to watch it at 4 a.m. while 7, or some fucking stupidness. I don't even.
That being said, you know what? Here, let's pull up that card real quick. Let's finish with the Singapore card. Holly Holm, Kohea, Holm's probably gonna win it. Arlovsky's probably gonna get finished here. I mean, the dude's like kind of on his last chins. I'm a big believer in stun gun. I want to say he's gonna.
I'm going Colby by a fucking grinding decision. I'm going Colby by grinder.
But Colby's going to try and get that fight to the ground. He's going to be stun gun to stop that shit. And then Safadine RDA, I'm mostly hoping the RDA is better at 170. Healthier, you know, he doesn't have to do that cut and kill himself and everything. And he shows up on fight night ready to go. I'm going to take RDA in that fight. But I'm not going to say it's going to be like super entertaining either. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go with Safadine on that, because I think that there's something just not right with RDA. I just don't. I think that there's something missing. Like
no. Oh, you know what's missing? The bolts on his neck, 100%.
Yeah, there's just something seems to have changed in that guy. I don't know. It seems skeptical. But
are you a side of skeptical, or are you just like hyper skeptical?
I'm just throwing out there that like certain fighters' appearances seem to be a little bit different.
And
Certain performances seem to be a little bit different. I don't know. For me personally, it's like I love the fact that there's a lot of fucking flaws with USADA. Like, don't get it twisted. But the beautiful thing about USADA is we've actually started to see all these people who we thought that were demigods. Well,
yeah.
Not so much.
And it's funny, we got a couple comments here. My boy Jesse is tuning in from on the show. What up, Jesse? Shout out. He says the pay-per-view is going to be live as far as he knows. The card and Spike will probably still be tape delayed. That sucks. And then as far as Bellator goes, RDA doesn't have his Mexican supplements. Is exactly. See, he shares your opinion on that. He looks a little different now. So
I agree, man. Like, I just think it looks weird. It's for me personally. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Everybody that we're seeing, we're starting to see these different people, and they seem to be a little bit different in the way that they're carrying themselves. And I don't know. That's just my personal. But
yeah, as far as this card guy, I mean, look, I'm gonna watch it after the fact. If there's any like exciting fights, right? That's what I always ask for. I'm like, I don't care who won. What fight was exciting, and then I watch those. But names that people will recognize. The Leech, Li Jianliang, that dude's he's kind of, to me, he's funny. This Leech, this is the nickname alone. Then Scoggins is on here, Justin Scoggins. Bruce Leroy's on here, although he's gonna get his last legs too. What up?
No, I like Leroy. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I don't know. There's just something weird. Like, there just seems to be something missing with that guy. He's like the Uriah Hall. Like, he's like that kind of guy where he's like, you kind of want him to be like the #1 guy because he's so exciting. He's flashy. He's weird. He's got like the cool look about him and character. And then
for all that,
he just gets starched every time. He gets fucking choked out or like his head kicked off, and it's just like, oh god damn.
Then Cyril Asker against Walt Harris. Asker was actually fought here in Arizona, and people were cheering for him. I don't remember why. But he was all like, "Oh, I want to come back to Arizona." It's like, dude, they're not cheering for you because you're you. They're cheering for you because that was whatever he did. I forgot what he did, but it was pretty crazy. I think Walt Harris was on that card too. Then Takanori Gomi's still fighting, taking on John Tuck. I feel like this is a setup fight. I really do. This is a setup fight. So what are you gonna do? All right. Do you pull up the Bellator card?
Bellator. Let me pull that up. Put Bellator.
Let's look at what people are gonna pay for.
Right. So as far as it's concerned,
pay for this Bellator card.
Let me just try and pull this up real quick because for some reason, why the fuck am I getting this? This makes no sense. Bellator has the worst fucking like. All right, shit, I'll go for the one.
Their website. Oh no, their website's awful, dude.
Like
that's another thing.
God awful.
All right, got you. All right, so I got the main card on here. First fight on the main card is going to be Zach Freeman against Aaron Pico. Now, Pico's got a lot of hype behind him, right? They sent him straight out of college or high school? No, college, right?
He's college,
yeah, high-level wrestler. High level. Have not seen his hands whatsoever. But he is taking on a guy that – look, Freeman's 6-2, man. He's 8-2. He's got experience. I don't know, if maybe they're throwing Pico in there with, a little too soon, a little too early. Actually, while we're talking about this, I'm gonna look up see where he trains at because I don't know that off the back of my hand or back of my head.
There's a few good fights on this as far as it's concerned. Like you got your boy James Gallagher as well against Shinzo Machida as well. That's a badass fight.
Yeah. Well, let's look at this. So then the names that we have on this card: Aaron Pico for the hardcore fans. They'll recognize that name, right? Yeah. Michael Chandler. Everyone's gonna recognize.
Here we go. The hardcore fans. Here we go. That's all I needed.
Is it Aaron Pico? No. Is it Aaron Pico not hardcore? Does any Bud Light people know who Aaron Pico is? No. The fucking casual fans don't know who Aaron Pico is. Michael Chandler people know. Yeah. He's taking on a guy nobody knows. And Brent Primus. Nobody knows this dude. You know what I mean? Then you got Lawrence Larkin, who everyone knows is a one-hitter quitter guy against Douglas Lima.
Yeah.
And then you get into the names, right? Matt Mitchell against Fedor, and you got Vanderlei Silva against Chael Sonnen. Tell me, based off what you know these guys, who really here is worth the money?
I will genuinely say this, right? And this is how I'm looking at it. Okay. If I was in the States and they said to me you have to pay like $70, so like say like £50 over here to watch that, nah.
Hell no.
And
they're pricing this at $50.
Is that what it
Okay.
is? So that's
Yeah,
like $50 here. So yeah, £30.
that's what I've heard. $50 for a Bellator pay-per-view with the card full of a bunch of names of dudes who some weren't fighting anymore and they came back, and some shouldn't be fighting, and some do not belong on the main card. You know what I mean? Like it's all they're almost hoping that based off the Fedor and Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva hype that this is going to be a big success. I mean, I think the fact that they've been promoting it this long as a pay-per-view is hurting them more than anything.
If this was the UFC, this entire card, it would be a fight night in Brazil, or if Fedor was the main event, it'd be a fight night in Russia.
Oh, dude, you would never heard of it. You would never heard of it, right?
It'd be a straight up fight night. This is a straight up fight night. This is not a pay-per-view. And I know people are going to give us grief because it's like, oh, how can you say that when there's certain people who don't draw? And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. But the point still being is these guys are actually stars.
Let's go off that argument. These guys are draws. Let's talk about the fucking draw, right? Who's a draw on this fucking card? Vanderlei Silva. Chael Sonnen, with the pro wrestling lines, he's a draw because he's funny. But he's not as strong of a draw as he was when he was challenging Anderson Silva. That back then he was a draw. Yeah. Right?
I think that was the only time he was a draw. People talk about the John Jones one. I was just like, I don't think people bought into the hype after he got fucking murdered by Anderson twice.
Yeah, what happened between John Jones and Chael Sonnen? Mind you, John Jones had his toe halfway out its fucking skin. You know what I mean? If Chael Sonnen just hangs on to the end of that round, he's likely champion, right?
But that's the same thing you could say if it had held on for like 30 more seconds against
Anderson. Exactly.
He could have been the first two-weight champion. He could have been the first two-weight champion. Like
exactly, right? And then but then Sonnen on top of it, Sonnen is just, he gets caught with everything. I mean, he's taking everything. He's on everything, or he was on everything, right? Yeah. But the talk, it's what's selling. It's what they're hoping sells this fight. The talk between him and Vanderlei. Vanderlei coming on the conference call, telling Chael Sonnen to suck his balls and doing the fucking fake blowjob shit. I mean, that's what they're selling us. That's what. Okay, let's talk about that fight first. Vanderlei Silva against Chael Sonnen. Vanderlei Silva, we haven't seen him forever. Chael Sonnen just got tapped out by Tito Ortiz, or beat up by Tito Ortiz. Okay? He got finished by Tito Ortiz. Now, say whatever you want. The guy deserves his respect. But today's 2017 Tito Ortiz, all right, couldn't hang with the top, 15 at 205? Or, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. That 205 is fucking light as shit, bro. Like, I'm not saying he's one of the top 15 205s in the world. Like, you could scour the earth and you could pull some guys from fucking Brazil and Russia and all this, that, and the other shit. Don't get it twisted. But let's be fair, that 205 division. If somebody turned around and said to me, Vitor wants to make the Legends League or whatever it was called, it'd be full of 205ers. It'd be Chuck, it'd be Randy, it'd be fucking Vitor, it'd be Tito, it'd be Chael, it'd be Vanderlei, it'd be all these guys. Like, let's be completely fair.
Okay, no, it is very true. Now, let's say I believe Shogun Hua is number 5, I think, at 205. I'm pulling up right now just to make sure, but Shogun is number 5. Shogun against Tito, who wins today?
I'd say Shogun, but after that last display,
against Tito, take the Tito from the Chael Sonnen fight.
I know, I get that, but Chael
exactly.
But this is the thing, though. Like,
that guy beat. No, that's the guy that Chael Sonnen lost to, dude. You can't sell that shit unless it's massive shit talk and drama between him and Vanderlei. You know what I mean? This fight's not going to be entertaining. Okay, I think about it. It's not going to be entertaining. It might be entertaining because they might just become a slugfest to get crazy, right? All right, but it's not like I'm going to dish out $50 to watch it. I'm not going to dish that out.
There's no way in hell I actually would. Like, I would not pay that. Like, I'll be honest. Like, it should. Yeah, God, but they have to.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the other one, the co-main event. Fedor against Matt Mitrione.
God,
how excited are you?
Like, what's the point in that, though?
No, it's exactly the thing. No one knows. There is no point. Now, we're talking about watching fun fights. Yeah, cool. I go back to the same fucking point. I'm not paying $50 for it. If you sell this to me at $20, I might throw a 20 at it. I might throw a 20 at this pay-per-view. But I'm not paying you $50 to watch a bunch of dudes that probably shouldn't be doing it no more. Outside of Matt Mitrione, I mean, Fedor, did you watch that fight Fedor had in Russia? Where even the Russian announcer,
where he lost the fight. Dude, let's be honest.
Maldonado fucked him up, boxed him up. Okay, and even the fucking announcer was like, "What the hell is going on?" And he was in Russia. You know what I'm saying?
The worst thing about that fucking commentator was though, when Fedor started coming, you know, quote unquote, back into it, it was like, the Emperor is back, Fedor is back, and I was just like, why is this guy so hyped on Fedor? Like, you can tell that he's soft. The first time he'd ever met Fedor, probably the day before or an hour before, he was like, dude, I just met Fedor. I just met Fedor. Yeah. Like, how many other people have met Fedor? I met Fedor. Like, come on. Like, that guy's ridiculous. Like, that entire promotion's ridiculous. And the fact that, you know what? Let's be completely fair, man. Like, there's very few places in the world, as far as promotions, the ones that get promoted shouldn't, and there's some that should get promoted to the heavens. Like, what is it called now? Hold on, I'm gonna pull out. I think it's KSW. Yeah, KSW, the one in Poland. My God, they put up some fucking badass shows. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're the motherfucking God. They put on like a show. They put on a show. It's ridiculous. ACB as well. They do some cool shit too. Like, but I think one are doing really well recently as well, as far as like the actual shows and how they're putting them on and everything like that.
Yeah, outside of like a few names, they don't have enough names to be called a big promotion, but the fight's pretty good. Like, if you want, you know, they got some good fights. The problem is people don't know a lot of these guys, right? Angela Lee, for as good as she is still not a huge name, but she's starting to come up. You know what I mean?
100%. Like, you look at, say, like, you say, like, her, the Garitonen fight, and, fucking hell, I forgot his name now. Shit, the name's eluded me.
Shinya Aoki. Aoki?
There we go. Aoki, there we go. But, like, that fight, like, that was so, it was so much hype behind it. And, you know, whether you like Tonin or not or whatever, and, you know, I know, like, a lot of people are, you know, anti-heel hook, fuck y'all guys. But the point being is, though, is that when we look at his social media and when he's promoting it, he's funny, man. Like, he's an entertaining guy to have on social media. And as a brand, if you're looking to promote somebody, it's cool as fuck to have him on your side doing all your social media stuff. Like, it makes you want to tune in.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, as far as, you know, going back to this Bellator card, I mean, Lawrence Larkin against Douglas Lima. Okay, Lawrence Larkin's going to win that fight, by the way, by, like, vicious knockout. But, okay. Michael Chandler against Brent Primus. Again, every time anyone will bring up this fight, everyone's like, who's Brent Primus? Nobody knows. Nobody knows that. They're not promoting it. Here's my point overall. They're trying to promote this whole thing based off Son and Silva and Fedor Mitrione. Okay? Off the names alone, if you haven't seen their last, you know, couple fights, yeah, you'll probably be like, oh shit, it's a huge card. If you've seen their last couple fights, you're not excited. I'm not excited.
It'd be like taking in a sense, it's like the Singapore card. If we're being fair, it's like you're looking at guys who have been consistently either getting beat or have looked horrendous in their last couple of fights.
Exactly. The difference is that's a fight night in the UFC and it's a pay-per-view with Bellator.
Oh, that's cringy.
Exactly. I'm serious. Seriously, like, everyone's been asking me, oh, dude, Bellator just picked up Mike Goldberg and Mauro Ranallo. Cool, good for them. Does that mean they're catching up? No. They're on their way. They're starting to make moves. I mean, getting young guys like Roy McDonald, you know, in his prime, really, you know what I mean, onto the roster, and getting Lawrence Larkin. I was a big fan of that signing by them. You know what I mean? Based off that, yeah, they're coming up. Okay? But don't get it twisted. They're not at pay-per-view status, in my opinion, yet. They're really not. You know what I mean? They're really banking on Chael Sonnen. Honestly, Chael Sonnen is selling this whole pay-per-view. I mean, did you watch the countdown video they had on Bellator?
No.
They had Chael speaking about the Fedor fight. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, I think the main problem is they haven't developed any stars yet. And, like, for me, it'd be more important to promote the younger guys than it would to just purely promote 90% of your programming on these main cards, the co-main event and the main event. Because if you've got a guy who's, you know, winning unanimously via knockout, submissions, whatever, at least you're showing, well, this guy's a monster. Like, look what he did to the last 5 guys. Fair enough, you might not know who they are, but you look at him and go, oh, well, he'll be one to watch. Then when you tune in, you're already invested in that said person. But the problem is, though, is nobody's trying to, like, this is the same with the UFC, though. Like, I'm not saying protect fighters either. Like, don't get, like, for God's sake, don't think that I'm saying protect fighters because they don't want protecting. We know this. Like, we saw Yair. If you were the UFC, you would have never, ever, ever, ever even offered him Frankie Edgar. You would have never even entertained that fight. You just never. And it's like the problem is there's too many guys promoting this shit and looking and going, we need to purely make this happen because it'll look good on paper. Fuck looking good on paper, bro. If you'd have put Yair against probably a few of the other guys in that top 5-ish, he would have had a better chance of winning that fight. And if he had won that, you could have even argued him for the next title shot.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. Exactly. And that's the thing what UFC was kind of hoping for. Was just like, look, we throw him in there with Frankie. Either Frankie wins and gets the title shot he's been, scratching and clawing for anyway, or, Yair rises to the occasion, finishes the guy that's going to end up being in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? And we create a star.
I just got a fucking tweet from your boy, Judo Ed. Like, I just got a fucking fuck out of here. Fucking man. Like, you know what, right? I love the fact that, like, there's so many cool people that, like, I've got to meet through Twitter, man. Like, obviously yourself included with from via Cage Pages prior.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is like, I will say this, like, as much as, like, I have so much fucking grief and stuff like that, and like I have some back and forth with people on Twitter. If you're ever on Twitter, guys, don't take that shit seriously. You won't get out alive. Like, it's fucking Twitter, man. Like,
dude, you know how many people take it so fucking serious? They get butter, and then there's the people that choose sides. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
the people that choose sides, and it's like if you're not with them, you're against them on fucking Twitter, man. On Twitter, on fucking Twitter, dude. Okay, you with me or against me in life? I get it. In sports, fine. Okay, combat sports, okay, do your thing, whatever. You're on fucking Twitter. You're on goddamn Twitter. There's people that get fucking mad at other people for following certain people that they don't like. It's fucking ridiculous. It's hilarious. Look, I sit back and I laugh at everything, even myself included. I laugh more at my shit than at anybody else's. Please believe that shit, okay? I enjoy a good joke, even if it's at my expense. That fucking shit where people take Twitter seriously and they get butthurt over it is a fucking joke. Get over it, dude. Like you said, you're not getting out of this shit like sane. You know what I mean?
It's just crazy though, because I'm looking at so many people turning around and being like so like butthurt over certain things, and we'll leave the last butthurt thing to kind of go into that later. But what I will want to talk about is because we was talking about social media and stuff and media as well, like some of the media guys. Man, I saw that the MMAJA.
Yeah.
You brought it to my attention because I didn't even see this shit. And then when you started, I was seeing everybody like tweeting about it.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, the MMAJA is an association for MMA journalists to uphold the what would you say? The morals and the credibility of the MMA community of journalists.
AKA, so the nose never gets banned again. Go ahead.
But let's dig deeper than that, bro. Let's get deep. Because I'm sitting up for this bullshit. Because I've only done bare minimum research into this, and there's not much that they've actually even said, to be fair. Now, with this, journalist association, does it have positive aspects of it? Yes. Let's throw that out there. Let's be completely fair. Setting standards and allowing so that everybody has a fair platform. Totally with it. Now, let's just look at the fine print here. If you're going to stand there and tell me, right, you have to uphold a certain way of carrying yourself when it comes to being a MMA journalist, well, motherfuckers, there's a slight problem with that. One, if we all act the same and we all act a certain manner, well, Twitter's going to get boring as shit. Because one, I'm not good. If people, I know some of these guys aren't going to sign up for it, and this isn't from quote, but I can just guess. But like people like Secret Moves, Justin, he's one of the funniest guys on Twitter. Like, shout out to that guy. Secret Moves MMA. Follow that dude. He's one of the funniest people that you're ever going to fucking see. Like there's Sean from Severe MMA. Like there's so many fucking cool people, but they're very crude in the manner that they carry themselves, regardless of them being in the MMA journalist kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if everybody in the entire planet, hold on, okay, let me put this a different way. If everybody only acts like Ariel Helwani, then it's going to be the most boring shit in the world. For the most part, a lot of the MMA journalists do act like Ariel Helwani.
They try.
They try the fucking damnedest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that I kind of go, I'm not that bothered about following that person. The people who are the most entertaining are the people who are complete opposites. So it's all good and well saying, like, let's act a certain way, but fuck that noise. Like, I'm not trying to hear that I can't talk a certain way, I can't give my opinions in a certain manner, and I can't I can't make jokes from when I see funny shit on Twitter. Like, if you're, some bullshit. And last but not least, purely the main important thing, if we're going to talk about holding standards, let's make sure all the members of it have never broken the rules that we're already setting. If they've already done it, fuck them. Feed them rice, motherfuckers. No, we're not playing them shit. Like, you should not be allowed to be a member of this association if you've already had strikes in content of how you fucked up before.
No, and that's exactly it, right? I mean, look, you look at this association. It's interesting because it attempts. Now, first of all, on the joke thing on Twitter, I do it all the time. All right. The difference is that when I joke around on Twitter, I just let go whatever thoughts is in my mind, right? People come back at me, and it's like rolling with a punch, right? You just like, whatever, that's funny. Good point. That's funny, whatever. Guys like, for example, Dave on my show on the MMA Advocates, he tweets out shit, and it lights people up sometimes. I get a crack out of the shit he sends out. He sends out funny shit. Like, it's funny because people go back and forth with him, and he'll get, they'll get mad at him, and it's the funniest shit because I know he's full of it when he's tweeting out something funny, right? But if you don't understand it and you get butthurt about it, so back to the point about Twitter getting butthurt on Twitter, it'll fuck with you a little bit, all right? But and everyone does. That's the thing. You just can't take Twitter seriously at all, especially when it's an obvious joke, right? Now, MMA Journalists Association. They want to, it's a lot of it has to do with how Helwani got kicked out of UFC 199 for breaking the Brock Lesnar news, right?
Exactly.
Broke it like what? Yeah. Broke it like 3 hours early. We've gotten a lot of versions of that story. We got the 2-hour cry fest from him that got him reinstated, and then we got the the UFC side. Most of it came out from Joe Rogan, right, on his podcast where Rogan said that the UFC told Helwani that to not release it or something like that because because there was only like a few people that knew, right? Because they were trying to figure out who the leak was, exactly. And that if he told, they were all going to get fired. You know what I mean? There's a lot of versions of that story. Bottom line, he got kicked out and banned. 5 minutes later, or a 2-hour cry fest fucking online where he didn't want to make it about him, but he made it all about him. Show later, he's back in. All right, cool, whatever, man. It's a young I guess industry, for lack of a better word, as far as MMA media goes, right? So now we have an association. I want to know what power they're gonna have to do shit. You know what I mean?
Like, imagine that's the key thing. Like, how are you gonna stop people from saying whatever they want?
No, it's not even that. It's not really from what I understand, it's not really to unify them to so everyone's in the same standard. Really, I think it's more to unify them in case organizations or promotions try to fuck with them, right? I think that's what it is.
I don't know. That's
right. Which I want to know how they're gonna do what they're trying to do. Now, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, Major League Baseball, they all have their own like writers. It's like Baseball Writers of America or something like that. Every sport, for the most part, has its own, journalism or journalist association, right, or group of some kind. Now the MMA has one. Like, but how's that gonna work? That's what I want to know. Like, there's so many questions they haven't answered. For example, there's fees. The dues are gonna be, I think what I heard is $50, right, a year.
You have to pay $50 a year.
From what I've heard. Now anyone out there correct us, put it in the comments or hit me up on Twitter at Elo31. Okay, but for sure, you know, if I'm wrong on that, let me know. But what I've read repeatedly, it's just $50
So
a year.
you have to be to be a part of this association. You have to pay.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. Hey, listen.
Ariel Hawani, like.
Here's the thing. That the assumption is that money's gonna go into some kind of like bank or some kind of thing where it's like,
Oh,
where they're gonna fight.
Ariel
No,
Hawani.
listen. I know, right? I know. But let's look at it from. Let's just assume from the get go that it's like legit, right?
Nah, Ariel Hawani's gonna come back with a Michael Jackson nose.
He's gonna look like. He's gonna go on the next show. Hey, welcome to my fucking 6-hour show. Hey, my name is so-and-so Hawani. Look at my nose. No. This is the real Michael Jackson nose.
Guys, I'm back.
Oh no!
How you doing, guys? Like, this is awesome.
No.
Today we have Conor McGregor. Like, that's what it's going to be. I don't know why it sounded a little bit like White Chicks there, as opposed to sounding like Michael Jackson. But fuck, man, he's going to come back with the Michael Jackson white nose, the bad album nose, and that is what we're going to see. 100%.
Shit,
hey, if anybody can do some fucking photoshopping, guys, hit me with that motherfucking Ariel Hawani white Michael Jackson pick.
Jesus. Yeah, someone will. Anyway, but regardless, you know, supposedly that money's gonna go into like a fund to protect them from like garbage lawsuits. Who fucking knows is gonna happen? I mean, it's just there's too many questions still have to answer. You know, and if you look at their leadership, I think it was a Dan Stutt from MMA Junkies on there.
Yeah.
You know, if we're honest, Junkie has every like MMA, every news organization overall, but especially in MMA, every organization has been accused of like, you know, of plagiarism or doing shady shit all the time, right? MMA Junkie's been one of those, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, Dan Stutt's ahead of this shit. He's part of MMA Junkie. You know, the Vice, I think, is Ariel, and everyone knows about Ariel, and he would he'd kick your kid off the fucking cliff to get a story. That's what he would do. You know, I won't go as far as saying he'd kick his own. If it was your kid at the edge and he get a scoop off of that, boom, the kid's gonna fly. Okay. Who else is on there? This one dude that didn't even write articles. Like, he mostly just watches other shows and then writes articles. I forgot his name though. Anyway, but he's also an MMA fighting guy. Here's the point: is there's so many questions. Like, also, are they gonna keep people they don't like out? Stuff like that, right?
That's the
Stuff
thing.
like that. I mean, how many times have we seen on Twitter, you know, journalists go back and forth and hate each other and then block each other and shit? You know what I mean? Then you got like the insiders that weren't even invited. I mean, this whole thing is just like, okay, fuck it. Now the other side of it too is it gonna end up like the MMA, you know, those motherfuckers, or is it gonna end up like the 8 other fucking fighter associations they try to get together? I mean, you know what I mean? It's a lot of questions going on.
I've literally just seen somebody tweet to do with Polaris going on to UFC Fight Pass. If you're a jiu-jitsu fan, you've got to be so happy that it's going to be on Fight Pass. Like the next Polaris, is it 5? If I remember correctly, is it 5?
I believe you're right.
It's got Tonin on there, it's got Dylan Dennis, it's got Jake Shields on it, amongst fucking other, like Brad Pickett's on there. There's so many other dudes that are on there though, but like just to throw some names out. But Tonin just has been quoted and just tweeted out from his press release. Many people wish bad things for their competition and hate on their acquisitions of popularity and success. I am, on the other hand, I'm grateful for Dylan's recent rise to fame and fortune. For when I knock him off his pedestal, he has that much further to fall, and the bounty of rewards and acclaim that I will reap from my victory will be that much greater.
Isn't Dennis like a losing streak?
Of like 17, and like, come on, like, I feel sorry for him because it's like since he got associated with Conor, that's when it's all gone downhill. But with that same thing said, he's probably made more money from appearances and stuff like that from being associated with Conor.
Probably, but then he took a picture with a bunch of 10 or 20s. What was it? Wasn't that picture? Like
yeah,
$20 bills?
Come on, that was trolling as fuck. That was trolling as fuck.
I know it was trolling. I know. You gotta love Gary Tonin. Says how it is. But the Dylan Dennis is just a question mark in jiu-jitsu right now. But first of all, are we talking about Polaris? That we're talking about?
Well, just a
Right?
bit of both, man. Like, you know, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing that obviously Polaris is going to be on the Fight Pass. And if anybody's ever used the Fight Pass, they know that EBI is fucking always on point. And, you know, they do a great job considering they're dealing with Eddie Bravo, who's probably one of the most difficult people. When we talked to TJ,
Oh yeah.
Heaton has said, like, dealing with Eddie is one of the most chaotic things you can ever possibly imagine.
Yep.
But then imagine being a producer, not just a commentator. Like, imagine that shit. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, no, and also, it's good to see jiu-jitsu being picked up by something like Fight Pass, right? Right now, it's between Fight Pass, Metamoris, who knows what they're gonna do, but they used to do their own pay-per-view and subscriber plan, and then you got Flow, right? Which Flow, again, I hate that you have to pay to watch, for example, your teammates fight. You know what I mean? I BJJF competitions, I had to pay to watch my teammates fight. The guys that I train with every day, I had to pay to watch them fight in California. They have all those freak show 5-on-5 Russia MMA things, which is fucking weird, but whatever. And then there's also Fight to Win they have on there.
Yeah.
You know, that I can kind of get behind as far as what they have, right? I wouldn't mind if they went to Fight Pass, but the fact that they're on somewhere, they have a lot of good matches. In fact, they have a card coming up here in Scottsdale pretty soon. But I mean, I'm just enjoying how Fight Pass is starting to bring up all these, like, because Polaris I haven't been able to watch in a fucking long time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I get to watch the next one now, hopefully, because he just signed him on there. So it's like, woo, fuck yeah.
Well, the only scary thing is that's going to be our time.
Yeah, it is. It is your time. So I'm going to have to either watch it. Oh, eat a dick, dude. You get one. You got one, okay? You get one. When UFC returns to your side of the world, okay? When UFC returns to your side of the world, you're gonna have to be up at 2 a.m. anyway. For our sake, sir.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like that's always going to be the case because more watch, and that's the worst thing for you guys. In fairness, like if MMA hopefully gradually gets bigger, then we're going to see the case that it's not going to be purely based on your time. It's going to be whatever time is local. Say, so if it is in Russia, it's going to be Russian time because they're going to go all the Russians. You know, we want all the Asian market. We want all that stuff. But for now, you guys hold the roost, but that's just because more of you guys want to pay $70 to watch a pay-per-view, which is insane.
I'm not one of them. Don't worry.
Hey, I know, but there's hundreds of thousands, and
yeah, I got you.
When a certain gentleman from over this side of the fucking pond decides that he's going to wrap his hands up and he's going to jump in, whether it be the cage or, as we're going to allude to, because we only have you for, I think, 10 more minutes. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, let's jump fucking balls to the fucking wall on this. Let me just start with this. Fuck you guys for announcing this at 11 o'clock at fucking night, UK time, because I had to get up ridiculously early the next day, and there was no way that I was going to miss out on any of the drama that ensued, seeing people's reactions, fucking the whole thing, the little media press conference thing that they did, conference call thing, all of that drama. Insane. Like, it's insane. Like, I knew that this fight would happen. I genuinely have said a million times on the podcast it'd happen. But it's just amazing to think that it's actually done.
None of us actually thought it was going to happen. Right?
I said it fucking every time.
I didn't. I thought, look, it's possible. Look, at the very beginning when they first started talking about it, I'm like, why would they do that? Other than money. Then other than money. And then as soon as I realized that the intent was, in fact, to get rich as shit, like, okay, it's probably going to happen. I kept saying it's probably going to happen. And then yesterday they announced it, and it was just like, what? Dude, the world exploded. It exploded.
The simple fact that, we all remember the last big tweet of MMA was the Conor retirement, which eclipsed.
Thanks to the cheese.
Yeah, thanks to the cheese, I'm out, all that jazz. But that eclipsed Kobe Bryant's retirement tweet.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's crazy about that is we're talking about an iconic figure in sports like Kobe, and that eclipsed it. But that took like 4, 5, 6, 7 days before we actually knew what the fuck was going on, because nobody knew what was really going on.
Right.
Then, this tweet has nearly doubled that amount of tweets. We're talking nearly 300,000 in 24 hours.
That's what you were talking about as far as retweets or just tweets about
Well,
it?
well, retweets in general about like retweets
That
of
tweet.
the Conor tweet announcing that it's official.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, like 280 or 260 last time I checked.
Go look at Floyd's. Go look at Floyd's. You know what it was
Like,
at the same time?
90 or something like that.
No, okay, so last time I checked, I haven't checked right in like hours. I haven't checked since yesterday. Floyd's tweet got like 40-some thousand retweets when I saw it. So right away, I went over to Connor's. It was already at 200-some thousand retweets.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, I saw someone put the pictures together, and they go, "Who's the A side and who's the B side here?" And it's pretty funny if you think about it, because Floyd's the A side. All right, but I love that little dig they throw in there.
I do think that Conor's alongside him though, and I know people are going, you know, oh no, you know, it doesn't have the UFC on there. I know that it doesn't have like, you know, McGregor promotions or anything. But the thing is though, is if they want to make this happen, I think it was key to make it, you know, the Mayweather productions and stuff like that, because you can walk in with more money. Like, I think, you know, business-wide, it makes sense to make things happen. Like, it seems stupid that they turn around and go, oh, yeah, the UFC isn't near, you know, boxing. It's like, well, that's stupid, because the only reason, like, nobody can tell me otherwise, but if Floyd had to come back and fought any boxer, it'd have done average. Let's not forget his last fight did fuck all pay-per-view buys. Fuck all. Like the Pacquiao, I can't remember who the dude was, but I think he only did like 100,000 buys.
Was it Berto?
Hold on, I'm gonna pull that up.
Yeah, pull it up with me one. But look, this fight is not. It's a boxing match. It's a fight with boxing rules. It's a boxing match, right?
Exactly.
But is it really a boxing match? Is it not? Is it? Huh?
It's an exhibition fight. Let's be honest.
It's exactly what it is. It's an exhibition fight, but it's a spectacle. We're not selling you. They're not selling you the fight itself. They're selling you the big. It was Bertrand. Okay, the biggest name in MMA right now against the biggest name in boxing. That's what they're selling you. They're selling you the perfect record of Floyd Mayweather, along with the fact that he can talk and he can promote. He's rich and I'm the money team and all that shit. You know, hard work, dedication, all that stuff, right? They're selling that to you. On the other side, it's Conor McGregor coming in, you know, fuck Floyd Mayweather, you know, that kind of shit.
That was the worst ever, bro.
I know. Hey, I'm not good at that shit. I do it on purpose. I really do.
Yeah.
But you know, no. 2-division champion, right? Knocked out the longest reigning featherweight champion in 13 seconds. You know, I mean, got finished by Nate Diaz, came back and won a majority decision. Fucking went Super Saiyan on fucking Eddie Alvarez in New York. That's what they're selling you. They're selling you two big names coming at it to see who can do what. Can Floyd stay? You know, can Floyd box up? You know, McGregor and finish him in you know, half the fight. It's a 12-round fight, 10-ounce gloves, 154-pound weight limit. So, you know, they're selling you that. And on the other side, they're selling how long can McGregor, you know, stay in that fight? Can McGregor win rounds? Can McGregor finish Mayweather? Can McGregor even touch Mayweather? That's my question. Can he even touch him?
I'll say this. What people have got to take into account is a few things. One, people are neglecting to remember, and I know, you know, everybody says, oh yeah, but he's been training, bro. You still see him working out, bro. But it's like, there's a big difference between competing and being active. And what people are totally forgetting is one, Floyd is 12 years older than him. Has Father Time caught up? People are all going, you know, he's going to fucking start you, man. He's not going to make it out the first round. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, if Conor comes through, because there's so many factors in this. Does Conor get into his head? You know, we've never seen anybody really go to town on Mayweather. Does he do what he did to Aldo and start yanking at him and pushing him and pulling him at the press conferences? And then does Floyd go, you know what? I'm going to knock this fucking Irish guy out. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to smash this guy. Like, I'm going to show him what it is. And, you know, that anger, that aggression, that boxing, that arrogance, that comes out. And if he does, we saw what happened to Aldo. I know it's, you know, smaller gloves and stuff, but it'll be bigger gloves this time. But the point being is, though, is if he fucking comes through and that left hand lands on him, I don't care who you are. That left hand touches. We've seen solid chins, iron chins, like Nate Diaz, get dropped again and again and again. And I don't think Floyd's got the same chin. I'll put my life on that. And a 40-year-old.
Well, here's the thing. That's a good point. The other points to that too as well are, you know, Connor's a southpaw. Floyd Mayweather has historically had issues with southpaws. That being said, Floyd Mayweather also has that ability to change his game plan as soon as he needs to. And he has, like, I mean, you know, a lot of fighters go into a fight with one game plan, right? And like a somewhat backup, and then after that, it's like fucking brawl, right? Diego Sanchez style. But Floyd Mayweather goes in there with a game plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and he can switch between any of those at any point. He's shown that ability. Now you got a point. He's older, a lot older, right? It's to me, it's fascinating to this point is like you were saying, does he still have that quickness, that elusiveness, that ability to get in, hit, and get out the way? I think he does, but I also think McGregor, you know, has that advantage of that dude. Look, we never even talk about this with fighters. Student of the game. I mean, with the Aldo fight, he said, "Oh, I feel like he's gonna reach." What did Aldo do? Okay, with the Nate Diaz the second fight, you know, he didn't talk too much about it, but he clearly showed that he needs to reset, get out of that way, stop taking all the damage, and then come back in and hit him again. You know, with Eddie Alvarez, he's stiff. He doesn't move very well. His head, he doesn't move his head at all. What happened in that fight? You know what I mean? Like, student of the game. This guy's gonna be studying Mayweather if he didn't already, and he's already talked about all the punches Mayweather's been hit by and hurt by.
Let's be completely honest. If anybody, let's be completely fair. We knew that Conor was taking time off for, you know, for his child and this, that, and the other. If anybody in this entire world believes otherwise, they're an idiot. The fact is you know for sure money that Conor, for the past 10 months, obviously including the following months that are going to lead up to this fight, for the past 10 months, he's been studying every movement, every punch that he throws, every time that he kind of likes to clinch, and every time he likes to move and which way he moves. And, you know, people don't give enough credit to Roddy either. Like, strike coach, like, people don't give enough credit to that guy. And I think that these two have been cooking up in the kitchen, and they've been looking and going, this is our game plan. Because name me another person. Like, we heard that fucking Kevin Lee had been talking to Floyd about, like, how, you know, MMA fighters like to strike. Like, I don't throw fucking strikes like Conor. Like, there's very few people who do.
I hope Mayweather laughed Kevin Lee off. Just, yeah, okay, bro. See you later.
Dude, like, that's the thing, though. Like, I look and I go, that's the only thing I don't like about this. In the media, we're going to see a shitload of fucking things where it's like, oh, you know, fucking Kevin Lee talking to Floyd Mayweather about MMA striking, and we're going to see, like, Conor working the heavy bag. Like, oh, right then, cool. Like, that's not like, this is where the MMA journalists and the boxing journalists, they're going to fucking annoy the piss out of me. It's going to be where we're going to see stupid things about every tweet, every Instagram post, every Facebook. Yeah. And it's just like, whatever, dude. But the thing is, though, is with this fight, this is my whole hard thing, right? Please do these couple of things for me. One, if you're a hardcore fan, right? Everybody's a fucking hardcore fan if you're not a passive fan. Every one of you. You know, because I don't watch, like, fucking some weird fucking fight in Thailand or fucking, you know, in, I don't know, Winnipeg, Canada. Like, does that mean that I'm not a fucking hardcore fan? Really? Like, that's stupid. Like, that's the first thing. Fuck all that hardcore bullshit. If you're a real fan of the sport, you enjoy what you see and you tune in and you're willing to pay, you're willing to watch and do whatever you want. So if you want to claim that you're better, like, you sound like a hipster. You're not a hardcore fan, you're a hipster. I remember watching it at UFC fucking 4, bro, when you was fucking, like, in nappies. Well, congratulations, sir. I remember when my granddad used to fucking watch boxing when you were in your balls, like your dad's balls. Like, it didn't mean that you can't watch boxing. Yeah. It's stupid. So anybody who's talking that shit, kill that noise. It's not fun. It's just bullshit. You're just trying to act like a fucking hipster. That's not cool.
On Twitter, on top of it.
Exactly. Like, come on. The second thing, if you don't want anything to do with Conor, right? This is my tip for you on Twitter, yeah? Because you can do this. You go onto this thing. It's called mute words. Click on your settings. For sure, I'm so sincere. I'm so sincere right now. If you do, I'm looking so deep to you guys. If you do not want to hear about Conor and you don't want to hear about Floyd, mute it. Mute it. Just put in Floyd Mayweather, put in Mayweather, put in Conor McGregor, put in McGregor, put in boxing, You know, put in August 26th, money, everything. All those things that are associated because you don't want to see it.
Yeah. That being said, you're gonna have the emptiest timeline ever.
You're going to be the only one tuning in to fucking Bellator for sure. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing you're going to see on your timeline, guys. But the point being is, though, is like, I love all you guys, but please don't say that you're not bothered about it, you're not interested about it. Then I literally look through your entire timeline, and every 15 minutes, all I see is the exact opposite talking about the fight.
That's most people.
Yeah, 100%. I don't care about this fight, bro. Like, I'm too busy watching fucking Japanese MMA. Oh, right. Okay, cool. You're a real fucking badass over here. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to tune in just like everybody else. And the thing is if you don't want to tune in, cool. I respect that more, that if you really don't like this fight, stand your ground and don't talk about it. Don't watch it. Because the one thing that, if you don't want anything to exist, don't watch it. Don't talk about it. And it'll disappear. It really will. But if you fuel it, then you're part of the fucking problem then. So don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
What can I say? Everyone's a hypocrite when they speak before they think, right? Most of the time you're gonna be a hypocrite. If you think before you speak, you may save yourself a little bit. But I actually have to run. But one more thing before I go. On this Mayweather McGregor thing, here's what I'm starting to understand here is a lot of the media, if you watch today and yesterday, right? If this is Mayweather and this is McGregor, this is the thought right here, right? Most people's predictions is Mayweather's up here, McGregor's down here. Mayweather's going to knock him out. Watch as we get closer to August 26th. This is going to go like this, dude. It's going to go slowly but surely. They're going to have everyone convinced that they're an even. We know they're not.
I don't think they're even in the slightest. Anybody who's ever asked me today before, I always say one thing. If I'm offering you advice, I say bet your house on Floyd by decision. And that's me being honest. If I'm talking for other people, if I'm talking to you guys, bet your house on Floyd winning by decision. That is like the easiest thing you could put your money on. But if you're asking what I'm putting my money on, I have to turn around and say I'm putting money on Conor because I can't doubt him. Like, everybody has always done it, and he's always come and overcome or been able to just destroy this image and perception that everybody else has of him. So,
right. My thing is this, dude. Real quick. My thing is this: Mayweather is probably going to win this fight. I feel that's how I feel, right?
Yeah, but he's a boxer. Like,
exactly. Well, exactly. We're in his. It's I just gotta give props to McGregor for stepping into someone else's world. Good for him, right? Now here's my thing. Yes, Mayweather's more than likely, 99% more than likely gonna win. Okay. But you can't say McGregor has no chance because that doesn't exist. All right. Everyone always has a chance until they don't, right? Until they get knocked out or finished. McGregor could land that nasty left shot, then what happens? The world fucking collapses, right? But don't for 1 second believe
that don't happen, because if he fucking chins Floyd, you are never hearing the end of this.
Oh, dude, it'll never end. It'll be hilarious, dude. Honestly, for MMA's sake, I'm rooting for Conor for MMA's sake.
Exactly.
But if I'm betting Floyd. But for MMA's sake, I hope Conor pulls off some crazy shit. I really do.
Like, that's how it is for me. But yeah, thank you all guys for tuning in and whatnot. I just want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsors. Huel, who do Neutrally Complete Foods, shakes, bars. They do the actual shakers. I can't recommend them more enough. The bars are beautiful as well, and they've got new flavors for the shake. Check them out at huel.com. All these links, every one of them, Huel's, Receptors, Baines, will all be in the description. I promise you I'll be adding all them with the discount codes. Make sure you check out Baines well, Athletic Jiu-Jitsu apparel. They do rash guards, spats, hoodies, vests, artwork, and they just dropped the midnight release of the midnight edition release, which looks totally insane. I need that tee in my life, by the way. Shout out to Bane. But yeah, so that's banestore.com / when you use the heel hook on the code when you fill up your cart, you get 10% off. Receptra, they do CBD oils, tropicas. They help with inflammation, insomnia. They assist in kind of pain relief. And, there's been studies that say that it helps cancer also. Like, I know certain people that say that it has. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll get more kind of a medical thing on that in the future because, we're seeing more pros than we are doing anything else. But make sure you check out Receptra. receptionnaturals.com if you're in the States. If you're over this side of the pond in Europe, then, or Britain, Europe, EU, whatever, fuck y'all guys. I just want us all to be one. But yeah, make sure you go to receptionglobal.com and use the heel hook on both of those websites. No matter which side of the pond you are, you get 10% off. Last but not least, make sure you check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, The Heel Hook Show. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, which is The Heel Hook, myself. You can check me out at Ash Lamprey on Twitter, and you can also find me at Just Ash MMA, Just Ash Official, I think it is. One of the two on Instagram. Who gives a fuck? It's Instagram. Last but not least, Eddie, throw them fucking socials at them, guys.
Yeah, follow me at Elon31 on Twitter, at the MMA Advocates on Twitter as well. Hook us or watch our shows at crossroadsmma.com. Takes you right to it. We had one yesterday. Myself, the boys, Jesse, Dave, Fred, and this is the dude, John, one of Dave's boys, was on yesterday. Had a lot of talk about Mayweather, McGregor, so you want to keep going with that, crossroadsmma.com. And shout out to everyone that watched today, Jesse, Edward, Lils, and Joker, especially Joker, who's a fucking clown. So thanks for tuning in.
Thank you all, guys, for tuning in. It's been a beautiful day. You know, whatever you think about everything that's going on in the world of MMA, just always remember one thing, guys. It's all for the love of the sport, whether you agree with it or not. There's certain pros and cons with everything, so just enjoy it, man. Like, let's not all fucking start falling out each other over bullshit. So, on that note, peace up, A-Town down. We love you guys.